Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another lesson in our course. And in this lesson, I'm going to talk about Curadar, which is the sim system we're going to work with. And I'm using here a slide from IBM's website, which is fantastic. I'm going to go through the main parts and some architecture of Curadar. And Curadar is one of the most widely used and known SIEM systems. It's been like this for quite a bit, and I think it's a fantastic SIEM solution for many organizations. Of course, each SIEM solution has its own pros and cons. But Curadar is great because it comes with a lot of components that are already built in, which you can utilize in your correlation and analysis needs, primarily being SOAR, which is automation and incident response. And you have endpoint analytics, you have user behavior analytics, you have cloud support, and use of threat intelligence, which is everything is built into Curadar. And basically, it supports all of the important features of detection. It grants you visibility, detection, investigation, and response. It comes with a decent amount of out-of-the-box rules. Of course, you'd have to tune those based on your own organization needs and thresholds. But that's going to be covered in a later part of the course, more later. And basically, one of the best features of Curadar, in my opinion, is that you have an app store built in, and you can basically download all of those additional add-ons that help make your administration and analysis function of Curadar more streamlined and easier delivered. So one of the most important things we need to understand about Curadar before we start working with it is what kind of components we have on Curadar. So like we said on the previous lesson, you have the log collection and you have the actual SIEM solution itself. So let's skip to this slide here. And as you can see down at the right here, so Curadar has a few main components, and the most important ones are going to be the event collector, the event processor, and the console itself. I'm not going to go and explain about the flow collector and processor because based on my experience, so those are not always used and they only fit for certain organization with certain demands. So I'm not going to go into depth about those two. So basically, the way Curadar works is you have all of your data sources, right? And the data sources, they are sending logs onto the event collector. And the event collector is doing some functions on the logs, mainly parsing and indexing. And then it transfers those logs into the event processor, right? Event processor is the component that performs correlation and rule analysis on the logs. And then it sends that information onto the console, which in some capacity displays that information to the user interface along other functions, right? So here we have the components more in depth. So as you can see, you have your logs, your flows, and your vulnerabilities, all of that being ingested by the SIEM, and it outputs offenses and information about your assets. And you can also do searching, reporting, and dashboards, which is what we've talked about. And in this slide, this is a very important one, you can really see how all of the components relate to each other. And as you can see again, you have log sources, they feed logs to the event collector, which feeds the logs to the event processor, and which feeds all of the relevant information to the console. Now, in the left side here, we have the app host, which is an external device that sits in the deployment as well. And this is a dedicated component to download all of your applications and run them on that device. And we will go more in depth about that in later parts of the course. This is just a brief introduction. But Curator knows how to do all of those things. It knows how to work with different kind of components very, very intuitively. And you can also deploy high availability. So for example, if one of your event processors or consoles is going down, you can have a secondary appliance that kicks into gear when that happens, so that you basically don't have any downtime that's too bad for you. And you also have licensing, but we're not gonna talk about that. This is more sales kind of things. But at the next chapters, we're really going to see how all of those components talk to each other in a practical way, mainly from the user interface. And we're also going to see how to install Curator. You can download it for free from IBM's website, and I'm going to show you how to do that in the next lesson. So with that being said, let's see how to install Curator and how to configure it for first time run. I'll see you then, guys.